Well, hello and a very warm welcome to the Pod and Rhythms with myself, DrumPIPO. This is a brand new show, and I'm sure you're asking yourself, what is this one going to be about? Of course, we'll be talking to a lot of industry professionals here, and it's going to be beautiful. Today, I'm super excited. I'm hanging out with a beautiful, beautiful woman inside out. I'm telling you, she's beautiful inside out, and it's gonna be lovely to be chatting with her. She's an African. She's a producer. She's into TV and a whole lot. But I'll let her tell you exactly who she is right here on the Pod and Rhythms. My name is DrumPIPO, and one more time, a very warm welcome to the Pod and Rhythms. All right, welcome back one more time to the Pod and Rhythms with myself, DrumPIPO. And today, I told you I'm hanging out with a beautiful, beautiful woman right here on the show. Look, Ludwekazi. Welcome
Ludwekazi.
Ludwekazi.
Nice, you got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the Pod and Rhythms.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful welcome. I was like, when you were doing the intro, I'm like, this
Right.
interview is off to a great start. We start off with a compliment.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
beautiful. You're generous.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So tell me, who are you?
I'm a human being, first and foremost.
That's right.
Yeah. I really, on my way here, I was like, okay, there's a lot of ways that we could show up as individuals. And with this specific interaction,
Right.
I want to show up as a human being. I'm a lover of life
Mm.
with a great eagerness to learn. I'm open to meeting new people. I love meeting new people, although
Right.
sometimes I feel like can be a lot.
Yeah.
People can be a lot.
That's right.
I'm a lover of life, very driven, family-orientated person.
Right.
I just love making genuine connections.
That's right.
Yeah, that's who I
You
am.
studied business management.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself in media and advertisement?
Sheesh. I guess it's the... Oh, you're jumping right in. I did
Straight
not
up,
expect
straight
you to
up.
go there. All right. So it's this entrepreneurial mind. And I guess also being exposed to a lot of individuals in my earlier years, especially in my schooling life.
Right.
There was an organization I was a part of, Enactus South Africa.
Mhm.
It was Enactus DUT at the time because I was part of the Durban University of Technology
Okay.
group. And I think for me, what that did for me was to expose me to a different type of entrepreneurship, which was social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because that's where we got to a lot of work that really sees a human part of business solutions.
Okay.
Right. And I
Right.
guess because of entities such as Enactus,
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer for me that I finally have a space where I'm able to articulate the things that I feel sometimes, the ideas that I sometimes get. I'd want to sell things.
Yeah.
I'd want to build things
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
I'd want to create things,
Right.
design things here.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. I am not gifted with using my hands.
Okay.
It's all here.
Okay. Okay.
And so because of that, I felt like also looking at the South African economy, looking at the landscape, I need to equip myself with the kind of qualification that allows me to be able to tap into different industries,
Right.
And then I guess the bug was always there. The creative bug was always there.
Yeah.
And that gave way to me being a part of this beautiful creative industry where I get to exercise my own agency as a
Okay.
young person
Yeah.
and also explore some of those ideas
Right.
and maybe even test some of the ideals that I think I live by. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
to cut the long story short, it always would have happened that way. Fate has it that way, that the things that we're meant to do and things that we're meant to become will always meet us where we're ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Look, tell me something. Besides you having the color of your skin that you do wear and the language you speak, what makes you an African?
Oh man. I always feel like when we have these conversations about being African, we tend to want to be very philosophical.
Right.
And I think we sometimes struggle with sitting with the discomfort of not knowing what it means to be African because we've had to grapple with this definition and then later on realize, oh, maybe I'm not this person. I'm not what this
Right.
this
Right.
ideology says I should be.
That's right.
And then you move on to the next thing.
Mm.
And I think the values and principles
Mm.
that we live by,
Yeah.
that make us human. Again, I come back to this thing of being human.
Yeah.
There's something about being African that always resonates with being human,
Right.
seeing people, recognizing people. And it's those values that truly make us African for me. Because really, is it geographical? Is it a feeling you get?
Yeah.
Is it a state of being?
Yeah.
Those are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
And I suppose that there's different definitions for everyone, depending on where you come from, what you've been exposed to.
That's right.
But for me, it also is about really your genetic makeup, your entire being.
That's right.
The spirit in you.
That's right.
When do you feel like yourself?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And does it mean that you feel more comfortable being in Africa?
I feel comfortable being in my body and being my truest self. It doesn't matter where I am in the world.
That's right.
I'd love to say that having been exposed to different parts of the world, but also our realities are so different.
That's
We
right.
are so nuanced as a people. There
Yes.
isn't just one type of African who's exposed to just one type of, I don't know, I suppose one way of life.
That's right.
It's different experiences.
Yeah.
So I cannot really give you an accurate response to that because I'm not traveled enough yet to say, no, it feels great being African in LA.
You know, there are a lot of people that forget where they come from. Once they're out there, you know, when they go to, you're talking about LA and stuff like that, once they're out there, they forget where they come from. They forget that this is our staple food. This is what I used to enjoy. This is how I used to eat it. And when they are back home, I'm talking from my background. There are a lot of people, when they come back home, they're like, no, I don't want that. What is this? What are you giving me? You know, it's like they're losing the authenticity of being an African or forgetting where they come from. Do you sometimes find yourself in such an environment?
Not really, because also being African is not the food that I eat. You know,
Yes.
it's deeper than that. So
Right.
it doesn't matter if my palate now wants something different. It shouldn't matter. And I get it, but don't we have permission to change as human beings, to have different interests over time? And at the same time,
Yeah.
is it possible to really forget who you are when you're living your reality every day?
That's
Is it
right.
possible?
That's right.
I don't know.
That's the question, you know. So, look, I see you are into books a lot. You like reading and
I
stuff.
love reading.
Yeah, and the thing is, I hear you want to study PhD.
I want to take it all the way, man. I want
When
to
is
take
it
it all the
starting?
way.
What exactly do you want to study?
You know, I always get nervous about talking about my academic aspirations because life gets so real. And we go through life setting deadlines, timelines, we have our own plans.
Right.
And I think for the most part, it also feels like I'm one of those people that want to, hey, it's done. Then I
Yeah.
start celebrating. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it beforehand.
Yeah.
But I think that we need to be deliberate about our academic aspirations as well,
That's
as
right.
much as we are about staying true to ourselves, doing the work that feeds us. I also think that because I want to enter certain spaces, I want to venture into certain things,
Right.
it only makes sense for me to
Right.
take that direction, right? Why a PhD? Because I can. Because I can.
Because you want that D.
Because it's gonna have a nice ring to it.
True.
I do
actually.
want to eventually get there, and it doesn't matter when. God's
Okay.
timing, it'll all happen. So yeah,
Okay.
that's why.
Look, I'm just thinking about this, but you being a black woman, do you think that we are losing it in terms of Africa? Are we losing, you know, women used to be seen in a certain way, they used to act in a certain way, they used to, you know, go about their daily lives in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right now we say women empowerment. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I also feel like one way or the other we're losing that authenticity, you know, of being a real African woman. Right now, when you go on social media, it's about how much skin you can show out there. It's about, you know, where's the money, where's the car, things like that, material things. But if you rewind it a little bit, African women they were seen in a certain way, or they saw themselves in a certain way. You know, what is your take on that? Do you think we are losing it?
In the greater scheme of things, as human beings, are we losing it? Firstly, you mentioned something about we're losing it, and African women used to be real.
Yeah.
And I'm asking myself, what does real look like to you? What is real?
Yes.
When you're saying to me, they used to be real, what did that look like? What made them real? Before I even respond to your question, because I think
Okay.
there's things that people have created in their heads
Yes.
that we must live up to as women.
Right. You know why I think you're beautiful? Look at your hair. It's so natural. Somebody will spend, I don't know how much money, but they put on a hair that is almost touching the ground. It's not real.
But I will do that.
I know you will do that, but right now, look at you. I'm not seeing you like that. And it means that you still go back to your root. You know, you still touch base with who you are. This is your natural hair. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm asking what is your take on it? Because you're asking about reality.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
going back to your perceptions of me,
Right.
of an African woman. It could mean anything. Me showing up in my natural hair could mean anything. It could mean literally anything
Right.
under the sun.
Right.
I could have shown up with a weave, with a short or long.
Yeah.
Really, it
From
could
the
depend
car
on my
park, right?
it all the way to the floor. It really doesn't always mean that it makes me less African, less woman,
Right.
less intelligent, less smart. I think that again, it goes back to our identity, I think. When you ask me, what does it mean to be African? We
Yeah.
have attached our identity to so many things. And so we often feel lost when we have to engage.
Yeah.
Because me showing up this way perhaps has nothing to do with my ideals.
Right.
It's just an aesthetic that I chose today. It could be an aesthetic that I choose.
Yes.
I am not going to speak for every African woman because there's different women
That's right.
and their realities are different. On my way here, I was listening to Thandintuli's Inkululeko,
Okay.
which is a beautiful song about freedom. There's a part in the song that says, Masqale kuqaleni, which means let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
I'll sum it up.
Yes.
She's basically talking about how she wants us to reimagine and reconsider coming together and starting anew. Because that's what freedom is supposed to be
Right.
for us,
Right.
right? It's supposed to offer us a fresh start, clean slate. And it got me thinking that maybe when she wrote that song, she did not write it for African women. Maybe she wrote it for herself
Yeah.
because that was her experience, and that's how she felt
Yeah.
when she thought about the concept of inkululeko or freedom.
Yeah.
But somehow I resonate so much with that song because there's threads in her story that mirror my story.
Are you free though?
I'm not. I'm not free. How can I be free when I must always justify? I must always show up a certain way. I must always justify why I have natural hair. I must always justify why I speak the way
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I must always shapeshift to fit your perceptions.
And you know, the beautiful part of this thing is, at the end of the day, it's about you. You know, it's about you. You can be hard on yourself and try to align yourself to certain things. You know, put yourself out there in a certain way that you want to put yourself out there. But it's all about you. I don't matter whether I say you have short hair or you have long hair. I don't matter. Once the interview is done, it's done. You know, and you are going to walk on that heels and be the one that you are.
Yeah.
You know, but these are just questions that we ask people because I want to know how you feel about it, what you think about it, because there are people who are lost out there. They don't know what to do or which way to go. A lot of people are lost, and
actually,
they are not free.
The questions that you're asking are not anything new because it's things that we deal with on a daily basis. And the reason I'm responding this way also is because you may be the vessel right now, but you're a voice for so many other people that we deal with on a daily basis who will expect us to show up that way, right? But I also do feel like when it comes to this conversation about women, authenticity, I often want to ask people, why can't you just let African women be? Just be whatever they want to be. Do whatever they want to do.
You are working with the SABC. How do you juggle around? I mean, you have issues of racial differences. You have, people who says, I'm the man, I need to be in charge of that thing, and why is she there, and things like that. You have things on a daily basis to deal with like that. How do you juggle around all of that? And stay sane.
Am I sane? Am I sane?
No, I think
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm sane. Honestly, the things that we go through, I don't know if I'm sane.
Oh my goodness.
Can't say that with confidence, with my chest. No, I don't know. The world of work for generations has been so resistant towards transformation and acknowledging the role women play in building, growing, maintaining businesses. And it's very difficult to live this experience every day because oh my goodness, I'm so tired of this. Because when I think about it, it's so tiring. Because from the moment I set foot, just let's use this example of today. Walking in, I need to decide how I'm going to present myself. Am I assertive enough? Am I kind enough for you to understand that I'm not being mean, but I'm also just setting boundaries? I must first establish, what do you want from me? Is this really what it is? Why am I here? Am I safe? Can I speak my mind? When I do, how do I do that?
You can always speak your mind.
No. But remember, this is an example, right? It's an example of how I often have to show up.
That's right.
All my senses have to be awake. I must listen. I must observe. I must read the room. I must do all of these things and make sure that I make my intentions clear, but not so loud that you think that, you're one of the most problematic ones, but also enough for you to realize I can take you there. So I'm tired most of the time.
I can imagine.
I'm tired because introducing myself, I have to choose how I do that. Can I ever really, truly show up as my best self? If I always have to observe all those things. And when we take it to the world of work, it doesn't matter whether it's TV, corporate, you could be in construction. This is every woman's reality.
True.
And it's so layered, but it's so tiring.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, look, who are some of the historical figures that have influenced your life?
So many. So many.
Let's get a few in.
Oh, I've got fictional characters that have influenced my life.
Wow.
From books. Because people's imaginations just blow me away.
True.
I've got really strong fictional characters that have been so significant in my journey. But there's also people who have been... I'm getting a little emotional because when you think about what it takes to be able to lead with vulnerability and create space for human beings to feel whole. When I make reference to some of these historical figures, you say historical figures, I think about why I'm so deserving of occupying some of the spaces that I do. And I don't take lightly what it probably took to achieve that for me,
True.
for me to live.
Yeah.
And so that's why I cannot get onto modern rhythms and lie and try to sound philosophical. I'm not going to act like things are okay. At the same time, there's people who really fought for me to be able to exercise my freedom. My freedom.
True.
Yesterday I went to watch a play, The Cry of Winnie Mandela,
Okay.
at the Market Theatre.
Yeah.
Very beautiful piece, directed by a woman. Brilliant creative. I was sitting there thinking about whether or not I have a full appreciation of how things could be worse. And there's no level of referencing individuals that can humble me beyond that point. I know. People can always Google struggle icons.
Yeah.
People can always reference people who made them feel some type of way. I could do that too. There's women I look up to.
Right.
But I'm not going to single out one because I stand on the shoulders of so many.
Yeah.
So
And
many.
you're always reading, so I don't know who you're going to take. You take this book and you say, this one, he inspired me. This one, let's put him away because it's unfair. Yeah, no, I do understand.
It's also, for me, it's also to challenge you at home.
Yeah.
To think about that person that helped change your life. And I think maybe there's also a level of fatigue from my end.
Okay.
That when we have these conversations, it sounds like we're glamorizing our past.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it looks like to show up real in a way that doesn't do that. I want to honor this conversation. I want to honor the people who have gone before me.
Right.
But I also want to move away from this tendency to elevate the kind of behavior that strips us of our agency. So how do I challenge myself to say, I know the people that I look up to.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people that we all probably look up to who have been so pivotal in us experiencing the life that we get to live today.
True.
But I often ask myself, do we really appreciate the work that they did for us? All those sacrifices that they made for us? Yeah. And I think the thing that I really just take away from all of those greats is that you can absolutely lead with vulnerability. You can create space for people to be able to feel seen, feel at home. And that human experience will always sit with you everywhere you go.
True.
Yeah.
True. The youngsters that are coming up and looking up to you, what is your word of advice for them?
Why would you look up to me?
Because I mean, look, why wouldn't they look up to you?
Why would you look up to me? I just love books and jazz. I'm just out here loving music. Yeah. No, I think why should they? Why do I have to say to them?
Yeah, what do you have to say to them? They like the way you dress. They like the way you carry yourself. They like the way you smile. They like what you do, how you read, the things you post. They're watching, but you don't know. I mean, some of them don't even tell you. They don't even like the post, but they like it.
Let me tell you something. I'm always just imagining this is just me. It's shocking you say this because in my head, I'm just sharing openly the things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I've got my own fears. Things that make me feel paralyzed. I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like I can't move. Everybody. Yeah. So when you said people who look up to you, I'm just like, I would hope that they always stay true to themselves. And as cliche as this sounds, I really, really mean it. If I could use a different language to say it, I'd say it in a different language. Because life will test you.
True.
People will test you.
Right.
I may not be sure of a lot of things, but I am certain life will test you.
Definitely.
And in those moments where you're facing a challenge head on, when you stay true to yourself, you are always going to have that compass that guides you,
Yeah.
you know? And it sounds great when we're saying it here.
Yeah.
In reality, it is
Yeah.
so incredibly difficult.
True.
Because sometimes you're like, do I even know who I am? Do I even know what I want? Do I know the
Yeah.
things that make me feel like I am okay in my body? I
Yeah.
am one with self.
Yeah.
Do I know those things?
Yeah.
But ask those difficult questions because they help you get there quicker.
True.
And I suppose, even though the process may be painful, it's so rewarding in the end, because when you shut down the noise and you're on your own and you're like, what do I really want to do? Do I take this deal or not? Then you start to map out the things that matter to you.
And of course, thank you so much for hanging out with myself, DrumPIPO, and Ludwekazi, my guest, right here on the Pod and Rhythms, where stories find their groove. You know exactly what it is. I will see you same time, same day next week. God bless you. Keep well. Bye-bye.